Stay tuned and meet the South Florida band, Benenger. Join Mark Lewis and R.O.A. for an exclusive interview. Real rock and roll news. From the legends of rock, you found rockonamerica.live. We're bringing rock and roll to America and beyond. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe.
Picture this. South Florida, the birthplace of the enchanting ensemble Benenger. Leading the trio, Juan Dimonto. His voice, a melody in itself. Adding depth, Danny, bass guitarist, and his backup vocals harmonizing. The O'Neill, the maestro of strings, completes the group. Their songs, Colors of the Fall and Occupy, are sonic paintings, each note a vibrant hue. This symphony of talent is making waves in the music scene. Stay tuned. The melody is just beginning.
Hi, this is Marcus Rocco from America Magazine, and today I have the pleasure to introduce to you a band that's newer that you guys in very short order are going to start hearing on the radio, probably seeing in a lot of different magazines, and all over the place. Without further ado is Benenger from South Florida. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good. How are you guys?
I'm doing good, man. Other than just the little stuff I was saying off the record, but other than that, doing good. So, go ahead and each of you guys introduce yourselves and what you play in the band.
Well, my name is Juan Dimonto, and I'm the lead singer.
Okay.
My name is O'Neill. I play guitar.
Okay.
My name is Danny. I play bass and backing vocals.
Okay. And O'Neill, he's the one name guy, right?
The only guitar player, yeah.
But you're the one name guy, right? Like everybody has that guy in the band that has one name.
Oh yeah, exactly, yeah.
Okay, there you go. So, when you guys were growing up, what were you guys listening to musically? What were kind of your musical influences growing up?
Well, mine, I guess mine was Metallica. I got into Bush, Green Day. I'm a 90s grunge kid, Pearl Jam.
Right.
For me, I actually started with the older stuff. Beatles, Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple, Eric Clapton, and then once I hit the teenage years, that's when I got into Metallica, and so on and so forth. It was all like the heavy metal stuff that got me playing guitar pretty much.
Cool.
I listened to a lot of punk growing up, but also a lot of classical music, so I kind of got that Swedish metal background as well.
Cool. And, what worked for each of you guys, and go ahead and give your names again as you do this, what was that one thing for each of you guys that stood out that you wanted to be a musician, and which eventually led you guys to putting the band together?
Well, for me, this is Juan. I wanted to make me a musician. When I was in 6th grade, the high school band came down to my elementary school, and it wasn't like a marching band. It was like a rock band. And I saw the guys playing guitar and just rocking out. And I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to play guitar. I want to sing. And that's what got me hooked.
Okay.
I saw a live video of Metallica, Binge and Purge, and that's what I wanted to do.
Cool.
Saw James, and I'm like, I want to do what he's doing.
Awesome.
And I picked up an acoustic and never dropped it again.
Nice.
Yeah. Alright, Danny. I started playing classical music a long time ago, so I grew up on the violin, but then I went to go see Motley Crue for the first time, and that just did it for me. I knew I wanted to be up there, people screaming for me too.
Was Nicky Six, what he did on stage kind of influential for you too, or?
Oh, absolutely. He doesn't just play, he puts on a show, he makes sure, he puts his heart and soul into everything, so.
Oh, absolutely.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. So how did you guys bring this together? How did Benenger come together?
This is Juan. Benenger started in Miami-Dade College over here at Wolfson campus. Me and one of our guitar players, Jose, we were hanging around the steps in school, and we just started playing around with each other, playing music, and we just built that chemistry, and we decided to form a band. And we just started looking for players, and right now we found O'Neill, Danny. I found O'Neill online, and just looking for the people, the right chemistry, and this is what Benenger came up.
Cool. And, I mean, you guys, to give some ideas who you guys have played with, among others, you guys have played with Seven Dust, Static X, Non-Point, Hurt. Who are some of the other guys that you played with?
We did a little fest a couple of years ago in Tennessee. We played the Screaming Hanley, Since October, Egypt Central, and I think it was 32 Leaves. It was another band. I mean, they're not like huge mainstream or anything like that, but their bands are, they're still touring and doing their thing.
Oh yeah, and it seems like everybody that I've talked to last year pretty much at one point or another was either going on the road with Egypt Central, they were on tour with Egypt Central, they'd just gotten off the road with Egypt Central, and it just seems like that band's kind of becoming the kind of linchpin for a lot of different bands and tours.
Yeah, I mean, we only played one show with them, but yes, at that time they were actually on a tour, and they were playing with some of those same bands in that festival that they did, so I guess you can put it that way. Everybody kind of touched bases with them.
Yeah, it's kind of like the game, The 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. Now it's becoming The 6 Degrees of Egypt Central. How close you have gotten and where you toured and how many shows you played.
Yeah.
And they're really good guys, too, because I talked to John before. John's a lead singer, is a really, really good guy.
Yeah, he's actually from, he actually lives here in Hialeah, Florida.
Okay.
He was telling me, I was talking to him.
Yeah. And what's the meaning behind the name?
The meaning behind the name?
Yeah.
We would like to keep that like a little secret between us. It's almost like, let the fans dig in deeper to the Benenger history. Almost like, you gotta look it up, dig a little to kind of get what it means.
Okay, well, this is for people that don't know. I just figured, that's a fair question. Usually, let me put it this way: where can people go to find the little tips and little, hints that they can figure the name out?
Check out our bio.
Okay.
The MySpace page, the old MySpace page, the Reverb Nation. Anywhere where our bio is, if they read into it, they'll get it.
Okay.
Get it. And check out the old members of the band. And if you really don't know, you can always come to a show and ask us.
Okay, cool. So, as this thing came together, and you got the lineup solidified now, how is it different now, Juan, between the beginning of it and where you guys are sitting right now with all the current members, with you and Danny and O'Neill and Christian?
Because in the beginning, we sucked. It's night and day. We're tighter as a band. We've grown as musicians. Everything has grown, and the chemistry is there. Everything it's like a puzzle. Everything just fell into place. Just fell into place with the music, the dedication. It just fits right. And the music, of course, when people that saw us when we started and they hear us now, they're just blown away. They're like, wow, this is Benenger. Wow, they're like simply amazed.
Well, you know this too. You guys, I'm sure, all know this. And I lived down in Florida for about 4 years, but I lived more central and then Tampa. But you guys all know this. It is virtually, I mean, outside of the southern rock bands like the Outlaws and stuff like that got out of Florida and all that in the 70s. And Warrant got out, Sabotage got out, but very, very few bands break, and generally you very rarely hear of anything coming out of South Florida other than Marilyn Manson came out of there, and then recently Black Tide came out of there. And so how is that for you guys? Because it's really kind of like, I'm from Detroit. You don't see bands that much come out of Detroit anymore either. Does that make a challenge for you guys in and of itself, being from the Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Dade, Broward County area?
Yes.
Okay, what ways? And living down there is the only way that you really know about it. There's a band, I don't know if you guys remember a few years ago, there's a band called Bloodhouse. They're a metal band. They had to come all the way to Tampa just to get gigs.
Yeah. It's mainly because of the culture and the music scene here. It's a lot of Latin music, and there's not a lot of venues or because there's none, but there's not a lot of support for the rock scene. There really isn't. It's all about Latin music and pop and hip hop, that kind of stuff is what's going down here. And I mean, it's gotten to the point that anything below Orlando, it's pretty rough for any band.
Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't it also like when you think about like anything that you see on TV about South Florida, South Beach? I mean, it's really a big, musically, it's a big club scene down there, really. And I'm not talking rock club, I'm talking, booty shaking. The girls are all dressed hot. They wouldn't know AC/DC from East of Central or Bon Jovi to save their lives, and they all look clueless if you mention a rock star whatsoever, and it's kind of that mentality down there.
Exactly. You got it, like, to the tip, to the point, because it's no rock scene. There is no rock scene. I mean, just a month ago, the only local rock station that we had, The Buzz, they pulled out. They did one, I guess there was the last concert, big show, Buzz Bake Sale. We played at that, and the next day, it was all over Facebook, hey, we're out. That's it. And now the internet radio, and not even that. That was a radio station that was like 15, 16 years. Yeah, it's been here for a long time. There's no thing for them down here.
So how do you guys deal with that? Because that's a really, really frustrating thing. And like when I lived in the Tampa area, and that it was you have a lot of good bands. They couldn't seem to get anything to really break out. Of course, a lot of them weren't really ready to leave either. But how do you guys deal with that? What do you guys do? Do you just try to promote and just play what you can? Do you just work on playing Orlando up? Just try to hit the word out? How do you guys deal with that?
Basically, like you said, play up north. We
Okay.
tend to play a lot in the Fort Charlotte area, Fort Myers, anything above Orlando, just because there's more of a market there. Out of state. I mean, we've gone as far as Austin, New York. Anywhere that's not in Miami, pretty much. We don't like need to bash on Miami, but it's the reality. There's nothing down here for us.
We won't survive down here.
Yeah.
We have to expand and we have to keep going down the road, and it's good for us because it's keeps us the road life.
But let's be honest, this isn't bashing. This is just talking reality. The scene's not there.
Oh, absolutely.
There's no scene down here.
Yeah.
We'll do a show down here if it's like an offer like we can't refuse, like if they're paying us a good amount of money.
Yeah. That or a favor for a friend, like a house party or something like that, which we don't mind doing. It's just, if we're looking to, get good gigs at good venues, even with good bands, it's tough, man. It's really tough. It has to be up north. Up north is where everything is going on. A lot easier for us at least to go up there and play.
Appreciate it.
Well, you guys also had an album called The Fourth Prime, too. Can you tell everybody what that is?
That was our first album. That was recorded in pretty much our bedroom. It was when we actually decided to get serious and have something going. There's one song in that album, Vice, that's actually kind of remixed again. It's in our EP now.
Right.
The newer version of that same song. But it's our I guess if you want to call it debut album in 2007. But it was our first. It was all done by us. Produced, makes a couple of friends that we had, and I mean, we're pretty proud of it. It's not as big, and we kind of don't play any songs from there anymore, but we still like it.
You guys are what I would call new school of rock, and I told Kathleen, and by the way, she's going to be listening to this. I know Kathleen Holstead, who put me together with you guys, and I always process this every time I do an interview. I have been very, very lucky doing this with magazine where I have not met any bad PR people or anything else. I've just had this wonderful experiences the 6 years I've been doing this. I don't have one bad story of any PR person or record label or anything. I've just met the right people, but I've just been very, very blessed, and she's one of them, and she's, so big thanks to her for setting this up, first of all. And her and I were talking about this, and it's what I call the new school of rock, which is every band that came out basically since 2008 with an album from like Black Tide to Burn Halo to Egypt Central to Kopek. It's basically and everything in between. And you guys because she was saying, well, you guys are listed as heavy alternative and this and that. I'm like, no, we got to get away from that. because that denotes something else. And to me, you guys fit in this because what it is it's a guitar intro, 3 verses, a chorus, a guitar solo, and a musical outro, which is everything that everybody's done since the beginning of time of rock, from Bill Haley onward. And it's not, there's melody in there, and so that's kind of what goes. It's the same thing that Aerosmith and AC/DC and Judas Priest and everybody else is doing. It's not like Tool where, like Maynard goes on some bizarre tangent somewhere when he's playing. It's stuff that can be played on the radio, people across the spectrum can love. But it's not necessarily commercial sellout either.
Exactly.
And so
that's what, I guess our basis was from the beginning. Let's have heavy riffs so, the metalheads can like us. And, because we're all listening to metal as well, but we don't want to be underground forever.
Right.
So we got to have something that takes us to that radio level. So we decided, it's how we kind of come to the name is Heavy with a Hook.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. Someone nicknamed us, we're heavy with a hook.
Well, and I can say that. I can see that. That's kind of what the new school of rock is. Because everybody would say, well, this is alternative, this is metal, this is pop rock. And I go, no, it's not. I don't know where they get the metal on this one and they get the alternative on that one. Because when I think of the alternative, I think of something like the Cranberries or something like that. And Green Day early on was a punk rock band that went commercial.
Yeah.
Kind of like disturbingly commercial. But, an alternative was like more like some of the Red Hot Chili Peppers stuff and some of the Tool stuff, and it's like, no, these guys don't fit that. These guys could be on stage with Aerosmith. So that's what all the bands have, so that's what I kind of coined it. I don't care about getting credit for it. I just think everybody should use that because it's really appropriate. Like, we had the new wave of British heavy metal, we had the grunge scene, and I just think it fits you guys because it's kind of a catch-all. Any band that's come up from, like, Redline Chemistry to Cabo, to, like I said, Burn Halo, Black Tide, anybody that's out there doing rock now, anything that's an Octane and XM basically fits that, more or less, with a couple of exceptions.
Agreed.
Well, I appreciate that.
A lot easier than all these little hyphenated types of metal and screamo and emo core. There's too many labels.
Yeah, if you guys want to use that, please feel free to use it because I think it's really descriptive. It's just the new bands that are doing basically the same thing, just putting a slightly new touch on it, that's all.
Yep.
Do you mind going into the album, and because I know that you guys have an EP out and called Trapped Inside, and I want to start with one song, and can we do all four of them? Is that cool?
Yeah.
Okay. I told Kathleen this because she's like, you got to check these guys out. They're amazing, and I'm like, okay, I'll go check it out, and I'll get back with you. We had to talk to them on the phone that night, and I go, she goes, so what do you think? I go, they're incredible, and they're probably going to break out really, really quick, and the lead song for me was, if it was played, would probably get you guys really far as The Haunting.
Yeah, that's the Green single.
Yeah, that's what I think. That's the lead-off single for you guys. Is there other music, too, that you guys have ready to go, but you guys just did an EP?
Yes, we have a bunch of songs right now that are ready to go. We're actually doing pre-production, and we're actually going to be in the studio with Brett Hessler, who was lead singer for Talking Day.
Yeah.
And, Brandon Hanley and a couple other artists. We're going to be working with him end of January.
And see, that's why to go back for 1 second to the New School Rock label. I mean, you're just talking different bands right there that don't have the same. One's heavier than the other one, but they can tour together.
Yeah.
And you can't put you wouldn't necessarily, nobody would necessarily put the Sex Pistols on tour with Pink and Paul McCartney, but but you guys are there and it fits, and all that fits. But then, to me, this is the lead song. It's a really, really amazing song, and I just sat there and my mouth hit the floor for the entire time that it's playing.
Well, thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. And some of the stuff that you guys had that's on Reverb Nation, isn't that some of also the newer stuff that you guys are reworking too?
Yeah, we have 4 other songs there. They're not necessarily on an EP or anything.
Right.
new songs that we've written after the EP.
Right.
Which we are looking to have, once we have an album together, then those songs will be there as well. Plus, the newer stuff that we're going to work with Brett and other stuff we're writing. We're always trying to write music, so we have a lot of material.
Do you guys want to mention any of those songs as we go through this as well, or?
We have the last song that we wrote, lately actually, that we had finished. It's called Occupy.
Okay.
It's a little more the sound established from us being a 4-piece than with the other songs that were with a 5-piece.
Right.
So it's kind of our I don't want to say the signature sound, but it's more what it developed to be. You know what I mean? It's still the heavy with the hook. It's just a little more evolved from other stuff that we've done in the past.
Right.
I think after every song we write, I think it keeps getting better and better.
Yeah.
Personally. But and hopefully when we record them, people will notice that. And I think the song Occupy is going to be up there with The Haunting.
Yeah. No, because there's a definite evolution in the sound and the progression and the style and the levels that each of the songs is coming up. It's kind of like an evolution of growth.
Correct. Yeah. Still the Benenger sound where he evolved.
Yeah, and that's actually a good thing. That's not a bad thing. Anybody would say, "Oh, they sold out." I go, go listen to the Green Day album and then come back and tell me from the first thing. Let's not talk about sellout here.
Exactly. I guess me, I just like to have it. It's just an evolution. That's all it is. We're not gonna really go from our sound to a punk sound.
Yeah, and it's not a knock on Green Day. It's just that when they did Time of Your Life, I'm going, oh, okay, that's not punk anymore.
Yeah, that was just to get money.
Yeah, that was a commercial hit. That was all that was. So let's start with this. Let's start with The Haunting. If you guys want to go any way on that song, kind of maybe the story behind it or whatever, and I'm going to let you guys go through this and then just take it from there and just run with it.
All right, cool. Well, The Haunting is basically a song about not committing suicide. It's kind of saying, don't give up. We all have our stresses in life. We all sometimes feel like, oh my God, there's no other way out. But it's kind of telling somebody or, someone saying, hey, listen, what you're feeling, I've been through that too. And thinking about ending your life is not really the way to go. You know what I mean? It's always a positive outcome to other things that doesn't mean, oh, I'm just going to end it because there's nothing else. There's always a way out of anything,
Oh, absolutely.
It's a heavy one, but it has a good message,
Absolutely. And then you guys, you want me to, I can read you the 4 titles off the EP, and how about we do that and you guys just pick it up with some of the other stuff and we'll go that way. How's that sound?
All right, sounds good.
Okay, and I'm going to just flip around on this. Colors of the Fall.
Colors of the Fall. That song was actually written a long, long time ago. And it was originally written for my father who passed away. And it was about what I was feeling at the time. And, how the seasons change, and, everything always passes and everything changes, but he will stay the one constant always in my life.
Yeah.
About what I was feeling, and when I was at the hospital, it's just a whole bunch of things that were happening in my head at the same time, being alone and dark and everything falling around me when he passed away, and, it's kind of a tough subject, but that's the song that came out that I wrote. I actually wrote that by myself, playing guitar, and I showed it to the guys, and we changed, the music to it. The music is kind of the same, but the rhythm and everything else. Cause I'm not a great guitar player, but the lyrics and the vocals and the melodies was always stuck though.
Right. And then Vice.
Vice, that song is actually about, when I originally wrote it, it was about sex. And, about, being horny, about having, sex being your vice. But, we made it more universal about, general, people's vices, general vice, And, about, when I wrote it, it was about seducing somebody. That's why you have that hush.
Yeah.
Little sexiness, I guess. But that song was about sex.
What we came to call the Bangy Bangy.
Yeah.
The Bang with Bangy, you need a t-shirt with that on it.
Yeah, Bangy Bangy, it's going to catch on.
Yeah. You need to start a dance for the girls when they're saying you're playing called the Bangy Dangy too.
That's not a bad idea, actually.
Yeah. No, that actually probably would catch on, actually.
Yeah.
And then the last one on the EP is Beast in Me.
Beast in Me is, it's basically a song about someone picking at you, picking on you for whatever reasons, and you kind of holding it in and not letting it out until it's one day you just can't take it anymore. You know, it's just bullies, basically. Pretty much, yeah, being bullied, and, you know, first you're taking it and you're like, but it just comes to a moment that you're like, I can't take it anymore, and then your inner beast pretty much comes out. And it's pretty much saying that, it's like, don't bother me too much, because if I snap, it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah, I think everybody's gone through that at some point or another.
Exactly.
Okay, and then what other songs do you guys like to talk about that are not on the EP, but that you guys are prepping for the LP?
Well, we can go into the Occupy that we mentioned earlier.
Yeah, let's do that.
This one it's all about the whole Occupy Wall Street. I mean, it's basically about that. You know, we're not really a political band or anything like that, but I think it's a subject that is going on today, on today's world. And it's, at one point, everybody's thinking about it, everybody's hearing about it. So when they came down to get, lyrics for this song, we were like, well, you know what? Let's write about something that's like a current event right now. That's something that's going on, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to it.
Oh, yeah, I just wish they would have occupied Washington instead of occupied Wall Street. I think it would have been more effective with lobbyist money.
Yeah, true. So, I mean, it's basically about that. It's speaking about what's going on and how we feel that, we agree with what the people are doing.
I think that's kind of a current underlying thing. I don't care what type of side of the political spectrum you're on. I think we can all agree the banks have screwed things up. But also, my bet's kind of on Washington because, they've allowed it to go on. They don't really seem, they talk a good game. And at the end of the day, the majority of us are sitting out here, we're all screwed. And they don't care, let's face it, I'll say something, I don't know if you guys knew this or not, maybe this will spur Occupy Part 2. Did you know that if you serve one term in Congress, you get a lifelong pension?
I know.
Yeah, one term in Congress, especially like one term in the Senate, you serve a term, you don't ever have to technically be in office again. You have a lifelong pension. And think about this. Why does somebody want to spend millions and millions and millions of dollars for a job for 2 or 6 years that only gets them on to some $1,000 a year? Interesting, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
And they have medical benefits that they don't even have to put in for. They don't have to pay a copay. They don't have to pay a monthly thing out of their salary out of Congress for their health care, and they get basically first in line if they go to the hospital. Well, they get rushed ahead of everybody else. They don't wait in line. Something wrong with that whole thing, and that's kind of why I look at more of the problems, not just in Wall Street, it's also there, so maybe there's a part 2 for you guys, but I mean, right on for what you did with that, because at least in some ways, somebody's got to start somewhere with this whole thing.
Exactly, right? And more Occupy is more sent out towards the leaders, the people who lead us, the people who we pick to lead us, how they're screwing up. It could be Democrat or Republican, but it's more sent out to them, saying that we're not slaves anymore. We're the ones that picked you, and you're working for us, basically like that.
If you guys could reach out to younger listeners, college age voters, kids coming out of high school, mid-20s, even people 30s and 40s that may be kind of tired of the whole thing or they're not really paying attention to it, because this is going to be one of the most fundamentally important years and decades in this country when this election rolls around. You don't even have to nominate or say where you're at politically, but what would you want people to think about when they go into the voting booth and as they prepare, first of all, where they should do some research, but as they prepare to go to vote, like a month or so before, and then when they go to pull that switch or hit the dot or however they're going to do it in their polling booth, having written a song like that, what do you want people to take into them with as they think about things this November? I mean, because you guys have a chance to, you wrote something totally search that too. If you guys are going to have the opportunity, each of you guys, what do you want people to think about as they go to vote this year?
I mean, they can think whatever. I mean, I agree that they should do research on who they can't. I wouldn't like them just to go on a whim just because if it's a Democrat or Republican, and they would just do research and to vote who they in their hearts think is the best to lead.
Yeah.
Because it's a right that we have, and it's something that we can't waste. You know, it's like, I mean, we're Americans, and this is our right that we have to vote, and make it, like they say, make every vote count, and use your heart. And who do you think in your heart will lead us in the right direction? And if your heart says, and you've thought about it and weighed the option, and even if you think they're both bad, and then you just decide whatever's in your heart.
I'm almost ready to write a Mickey Mouse this year.
But also, we don't want to wait.
Oh, I agree.
You mean just vote who? Okay, we get rid of that. Yeah. Right. Well, Mickey Mouse is good. He's a good president.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying, it's frustrating. That's kind of where I'm at. I'm frustrated. What about the other two you guys in there? What would you pass on to people, you know? Because, I mean, and it takes from the song Occupy, too. You know, what stands out as probably one of the more critical issues this year, having written that song?
It's Benenger. I actually spent some time up in Fort Myers, actually did one of the Occupy protests.
Okay.
Being out there and actually talking to people and getting more and more facts, it's just ridiculous and disgusting with, big banks and people are getting away with that. I don't understand how we have to pay taxes every year, but, they get so much in tax benefits that they actually get a check back from the government. That makes no sense to me. So that, is something that needs to stop. And that was the whole reason, Occupy came about. But on top of all of that, my whole thing is everybody absolutely do all the research you can on, all the people out there, but absolutely go out there and do something because, me and O'Neill, we are, Cuban, we're Cuban, we come from a communist country, and, we don't have that over there. We don't have the freedom that we have here, what your leader is. So having the chance to, go out there and actually make a difference in it, every vote does count. I mean, even if it doesn't, swing the entire nation to your side, you know what, it's one vote that you can do that there's millions of people across the world can't. So exercise that right.
Perfect.
And, well, my side, I'm honestly not a very political person. I mean, Danny kind of keeps me up to date with what's going on in the world. Danny Arrieta for president.
that might,
if I were to answer that question, is kind of what the guys are saying, vote for who you think is right, or you think will do a good job, but also vote because you have the right to do that, and that's your voice. You can't necessarily go to the White House and yell out, hey, here's my voice, but, there's a way that you can do it by voting, and voting for those right people that will do the right thing. You can't be pissed at the president if you didn't vote for him. Exactly. If you don't vote, then really just shut up, because you didn't speak your mind when you had the chance.
Hey, maybe we do need to put Danny on the bill for president.
Yeah, I'll vote for him. I'll tell everybody tax managers.
Yeah, there you go. That's kind of what we need, But, what else do you guys want to know about that you haven't had? And let's do it this way. What have you guys wanted to say in an interview, that, or when you talk to people that maybe you never really had the time or you didn't get a chance to actually say about the band and about the music and I'm going to give you a chance to do that you want people, when they listen to your music, when they come and see a performance, what's kind of the one thing that you guys really want people to take away from Benenger?
That they want to see it over and over and over again and keep coming to our shows. Like, we want them to, when they see us, they'll be like, wow, I don't know, can I
say that, I don't know how regulations. You can say it.
They'll be like, who the fuck is this band? It's pretty much, we want them to have an experience. You know, when we were little kids and, you know, I first saw Metallica, I want people to feel what I felt when I first saw Metallica. It was like, oh my God, you know, it blew my mind. So, I guess that it's the main thing for us is go check out our show. You know, if we hit your town or if we're in your area, go check it out. Because we don't like to brag, but we do put on a show. We want people to have that experience. You know, oh, maybe these guys are not Metallica, but we want them to go home and really tell their friends, like, yo, you have to check out this band, man. You know, next time they're in town, or go to their Facebook, Reverb Nation, wherever not, but we want them to actually speak about us the second they leave that venue and remember us.
Cool.
I can tell you from personal experience.
Yeah.
I saw Benenger before I was in the band, and that was exactly how I came about it. Our band shared the stage a few times, and every time I said, you know, those guys blew us out of the water. We got, you know, I like it that, you know, it's a band that people strive to, you know, people on the scene see us and they know that we're serious about this. That, you know, every time you see us on stage, each one of us is giving you everything we have. You know, personal aside, you know, health aside, we give everything on that show because we truly believe in this and we want to do this, you know, for the rest of our lives. This isn't a hobby for us.
And let me talk about this too, because I saw the Facebook post, the current one. Tell everybody where to go so that they can try to get you guys voted in for the Florida Music Festival.
Well, right there, when I posted on Facebook, just go into Florida Music Festival Facebook page, and just type in on the comment box on the bottom, Benenger. That's all they want you to do, is just type in the name of the band, and just, you know, do it every day, you know. Well, they need different people, you know, of course, you know, and, but that's for the main stage. That's for the main stage of the festival. I mean, it's a huge festival, and,
who else is going to be playing out there?
I don't know, they pick a whole bunch of bands. We actually played there the 2010 Florida Music Festival, and we were in the Grammy Showcase. And out of 400 entries, we were the top 6 finalists for the Florida chapter of the Grammys. They chose us as one of the top 6 finalists, and we were the only metal hard rock band chosen. And we actually came in third. Even though it was a contest, we actually came in third. Out of the 400 or more, almost like 500 bands that entered. Only they picked top 6, and we were third.
Nice.
We got beat out by a pop guy, a pop singer, and a reggae band. Yeah.
Interesting.
And you know, I think we're chosen by people in the Grammy committee, so that's like an honor, you know. So.
No, absolutely. And then what happens from that? Is that connected to the Grammys that everybody sees on TV as kind of a regional end of that?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It's the same thing, you know. You know, the people in the Grammys, they have regional offices here in Florida, New York, Los Angeles, and they're the ones that actually vote. You know, they're the people that get chosen for the nominees for the Grammys.
Yeah.
People that are members of those committees in each region are the ones that actually vote for who wins Grammys and who gets nominated.
So you guys are basically, I mean, from those two people are going to understand that you guys are getting really close to breaking out on a massive scale here, so.
Yeah, and it's happening pretty quick, and we want to take it back just a little bit because we want to, you know, record and to pre-produce, you know, to bring out good material, you know, and we don't want everything to happen so, you know, we don't want a one single album. We want all our songs to be a single, pretty much. And by that I mean just good quality music, not just some overproduced pop stuff.
Now, and you guys mind if I ask one more question before we wrap this up?
Yeah, let's.
I've been doing this with certain bands, and it kind of depends on where they're at, you know, on the level of things as far as, you know, whether they're older or newer, but I've been starting asking this across the board now, and I don't even remember when I started this, was a while back. Social media, and say satellite radio, to me, and I've had some bands agree with this, that satellite radio is now making, it's like back in the day, 20, 30 years ago, you had FM radio and then you had AM radio that nobody really listened to. And now it's like FM radio is becoming today's AM radio compared to satellite radio like XM and FM, XM and Sirius. And of course you have the internet that's really trying to do their thing too with a lot of stations that popped up. But, it's like satellite, even though there's some clear channel ownership, it's still a lot of different from the typical, what we've gotten into with the clear channel era, where you have basically just a couple companies now. So for you guys, how is it as far as like social networking and, how do you guys look at the satellite radio thing compared to the FM radio thing? And it's not a knock on FM, it just seems like XM's like 3 or 4 months ahead and a little bit more open, kind of like old school where they'll get a disc and they'll just play it. So how does this work for you guys as a band with the whole social networking thing that bands didn't have 30 years ago?
It's a great tool. It really is. I guess in general, bands or artists for that nature, we just need to learn how to use it to a point that's beneficial, but it's a great tool. I have nothing against it. It kind of sucks that people don't go out and buy CDs anymore and just download it. But it's all an evolution. So if that's the new media that's going on with the Facebook and, all the satellite radios and internet, utilize it. Just you gotta, on those things, you really gotta go with the ball. Because if not, you're being the 8-track era while everybody else has an iPod,
Yeah.
So on my opinion, it's great. It's just, there has to be you have to figure out ways to use it to a point that it's getting to the bigger masses other than just, the 500 fans or whatnot that you have in your town.
And for you guys, how well is that working?
We're actually getting into it heavily now, so it's working. It really is.
We have to get better at it.
Yeah, we just have to honestly get better at it. No lie.
We have to get into the 10,000 friends region.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing is about social media is that it takes a big world and just makes it smaller. You can connect with people. Like the way we can get, shows in Tampa and Fort Myers, all the way in New York is basically through Facebook, social media, Twitter. We just blurb out. People give us, tips to go here, have you seen this band play here? And it's just a really easy way to get information. So if the tool is there and, 3/4 of the world is using it, it's dumb for us not to be using it.
Yeah, it's kind of, I remember when the internet started catching on in the late 90s and started blowing up, and it's just like you wake up today and it's like this whole different world. I can't do what I'm doing without utilizing it either. It's amazing that you become so dependent on it, but at the same time it's so beneficial. It really is. It's made the world of 6 billion people like it's just a large neighborhood now.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. It's kind of a joke thing that I tell my friends at work, but, they're always talking about traveling here, and I tell them, well, if I want to go see the world, I'll Google it. I can see the whole world from my computer just by Googling Google Maps.
Well, this is true.
It's kind of relating me that I can go anywhere using the internet. I can speak to people in Germany, and then it goes like that for, using Facebook and all that stuff. You can talk to fans that are not necessarily in the States, but they're still listening to your stuff that if we didn't have the whole social media, it'd be pretty hard or impossible for them to even hear about you.
Where is, last question on this, and we'll wrap up. Where is the farthest place, the most surprising place that you guys found out that you have fans in?
Well, I can't even remember the name of it. Australia. Was it Australia? Yeah, Australia. We've gotten that far. So, yeah, Australia would be we've been a couple people in Europe as well. But Australia's been the farthest.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I started having people read the magazine in China. I'm going, really? This is cool.
Yeah. And if we get it in Japan, even better. Man, you make it in Japan, you made it.
Well, I have readership in Japan, so that may be around the door here real quick.
Awesome. All you need is just one, person to just spread the word. It's just like social media. They just spread the word and everybody knows. And all of a sudden, Benenger becomes huge in, Tokyo, Japan.
Well, that's what this is about. That's why I do the interviews. This is what this is about. It's not so I can say, hey, is everything to help you guys out.
Thank you very much, man. Very appreciated.
Well, that's what it's all about. If you guys disappear and everybody else disappears and all my heroes disappear and all the bands disappear, what am I going to write about?
True.
Yeah. So go ahead and tell everybody where everybody can find you online. Let's start with the website first, if you have one.
Well, right now our website is under construction, but it is www.benenger.com.
And I'm going to spell that Benejer.
Correct. And they can look us up on Facebook. MySpace, if anybody ever uses that anymore.
Yeah, that's a good question. Nobody's knowing if anybody really uses it anymore.
We don't. But the music's still there. Also, Reverb Nation.
And what about Twitter for you guys? Do you guys do the Twitter thing?
Yeah, the Twitter, Benenger.
Okay.
The only one. And if there's ever any booking information, you just send it to BenengerBand@gmail.com or contact Kathleen at BenenRecords@hotmail.com.
And she's also on your Facebook too, listed too.
And her number's there, her email's there, and everything. Also, if you want to get the songs, you just go to you can go to cdbaby.com or iTunes, Amazon, it's all there.
And let's do this, and when you guys are done, hang on to the phone for just a second. At the end of this, what I like to do is, and it's no leading by me, there's no right or wrong answer on this, and it's just anything that you'd like to say to anybody, and the way it generally goes is, the way it's generally gone, is, I've had some people say, well, I love you to so-and-so, you know, whether it's a wife, a child, or whatever. You know, a couple guys get really prophetic with words of wisdom, and a lot of times it's like, I just like to thank this person and that person, so I'm going to let you guys take us out of here.
Well, we would like to thank our fans and our old fans and the new ones that we're going to make for listening to us, for giving us a shot, and, you know, keep following us, and let's see where you, the fans, take us, and where Benenger goes in the future. Cheers.
And I will say interview